Hey guys, LordOfPondtail here with another video for Rise of Empires, Ice and Fire. Today in this video I'm going to show you how to raid one of your farms. Now I was just on one of the Facebook groups earlier today, and this was actually a question that came up in that was posted on there by a new player, just simply asking how do I raid a farm. So I thought, okay, let's jump on the laptop and do a quick video for it. So here we go. So I'm in my main account right now, and if we just zoom out, you can see that I've got my 7 farms in close proximity to me. And as I've said before in my farm videos, you want to make sure that you label your farm similar to your main account, so everyone knows that it is yours. So as you can see, I have pond farms. Pretty simple for everyone to know. And the first point that I need to explain for you to be able to hit your farm is that it must be in a different alliance. If you've made a farm and then you've added it to the same alliance as your main castle, you're not going to be able to hit it. So you want to be able to have it in a separate alliance. So as you can see, we have the BOW alliance for our farms. Most alliances will set up a farm alliance, at least 1 or 2 farm alliances, and so you can grow the technology, etc., in that alliance, and it makes it easier for people to understand, both in state and out of state, which alliance that is linked to. So I would suggest, if you're in a new alliance and you've got players adding farms, then you should coordinate with your R4s and the R5 and make a separate alliance for everyone to put their farms into. Second thing to think about is actually what resources you want from a farm. So before you hit a farm, you'll want to swap over into it to just do a couple of things. So I'm going to pop over into Pond Farm 2 now and show you a couple of things that you want to get set up before you raid it. Here we are. I've changed over into Pond Farm 2, my account here, C21 Farm. The first thing that you want to think about is make sure that you have sent your legions out of the castle. So whether you send them to gather or you send them on daily national quest, just get them out of the account. Obviously, if you don't do this step before you raid it with your main, you're going to be killing the troops in your farm. I'm sure you've all seen it from the intel building. It happens a few times a week. Players hit their farm without checking that their troops are out of it, and they end up taking hundreds of thousands of power off their own farm. And it's always embarrassing when that goes up on the intel on your province for everyone to see that you've made that mistake. But it is a mistake that I've made before, and I've seen loads and loads of players do it, so don't feel too bad if you do it. So my first tip is send all your legions out. In line with that, when you're making troops in your when you're training troops in your farm, don't train excessive amounts of troops. Just train the troops that will fill your legions, and then if you develop one of the heroes in your legion, or you develop a training ground for that legion and the troop capacity increases, just train the number of troops for that legion that you need. Second thing to think about before you start raiding the farm is what resources do you need. So if we go in and we look at what we've got here, so I haven't raided Pond Farm 2 for a few days, or one of my alliance mates hasn't raided it, as I do open up my farms to be hit by other players so they can develop. You want to think about what you need, because for instance, if you're coming up to a kill event weekend and you're going to be taking part in that, and you're an aggressive player, you might be taking part in a throne battle, you don't want to have loads of resources sitting in your main account that you've raided from your farm. So my second piece of advice is think about what you want. So for instance, if it's a Tuesday or a Wednesday where you're doing building or research, that does take up a lot of resources, and it's likely that whatever you raid from your farms on those days, you're going to use that in the next couple of days before you get to the weekend. So it's just be mindful that you don't overdo it. The other thing is, and this is how I develop my farm accounts, is that if I have some resources in the farm that is available that my main is going to raid from it, but I don't need it in my main, then I will try and use those resources in my farm to help develop that account. A key example of this is food. I have 1.2 G's worth of food in my main. I don't need food from my farms, and if you look here, I've got 12.6 million food in the usable, raidable store at the moment. And I have 230 million food in my stock as well. So my next tip would be that you just have a look in the farm, see if you can use any of those resources that you don't need. For instance, a good example is with food. So food will allow you to upgrade your lumber yards. All my lumber yards in Pond Farm 2 are maxed at level 21 already because I've already done it. But if you wanted to use food for something else, you can use food for your iron mines and also for your crystal workshops. Again, unfortunately, I have actually maxed all of those in this account already. Another example would be maybe you don't need lumber in your main, then you could upgrade one of your quarries, for instance, as they require lumber. 3.4 million for a level 21 quarry there. So just have a think about that. Today I literally cannot use food for anything. I've even filled my tavern with food and ale, so I will be raiding the food from the account. So those are the two things. So I'm gonna now I do want some iron and marble for my main, so I'm gonna max the amount of what I'm doing here is maxing the iron in my store so I can accommodate 19.5 million iron. So I'm just going to get that ready to be hit, and I might as well take a bit of marble. I'll take 10 million marble out as well. Now another thing to remember is that you will have the depot protection level depending on your research, alliance research, and also the level of your tavern. The higher the tavern, the higher the level of protection. So I've got 510,000 protection in this account, so you've just got to bear that in mind, that I have 11.6 million marble available, but I would only be able to raid 11.1 million of that. So this account is all set up now, and I can then switch back to my main and I can start raiding. So I'm just going to switch back to my main account and we'll give it a go. Alright, so we're back in the main and we're all ready to raid the farm. You're going to attack your farm exactly the same way as you would attack any other enemy castle. So you just click on it and select attack and then choose the legion that you want. It's going to take 5 of your stamina per attack on the castle. And what you want to think about is that obviously if you're a raider, if you raid with your class legion, that will also obtain you gold, which most people are desperate to obtain gold, and I will use my class here in this example. So select whichever legion you want. We've selected class and then march, and as you can see, we're attacking our farm. When you're raiding farms, a key thing you need to keep an eye on is their fortification value, and when you're obviously not in that account, you only see it as a percentage. So as you can see, one attack from my class has reduced the fortification by 27%. So I know that if I keep using my class, I'm only going to be able to hit it 3 times. But that's fine, because you can swap back into your farm and reload the fortification using the gem reset option in your fortress. So that's what we're going to do in a second. So I'm going to raid the farm one more time. As you can see, it's gone down to 46% fortification. You don't want to zero your farm, obviously, otherwise it's going to end up on another location in the map, and your gathering troops and any troops that were at National Quest are going to get sent back to the account as well. So I've hit the account 3 times. It's down to 19% fortification, and we're just going to go back into the farm and reload that fortification. Here we are in Pond Farm 2, and if you want to reload your fortification, what you'll need to do is come to this building here, the fortress, click on defense, and then you see here at the bottom you've got the option use gems to restore 600 durability, and every 2 times you use it, it increases the cost by 100 gems. So I've got a maximum capacity of 1700 fortification value, so I can use this twice. So we're going to go ahead, and as you can see, there is a 30-second cooldown. This was instilled on one of the more recent updates, which just means it's going to be a bit more time consuming these days to restore your durability on the fortification. While we're waiting for that to go ahead, one thing to think about in your farms is, as I've said in one of my farm videos, is you increase the level of your fortress. When you increase that, you'll need defensive components, which you can buy with diamonds. If you're making a fair amount of diamonds in your account, in your farms, then that might be a consideration for you. And the higher the level of your fortress, the higher the fortification value will be, and therefore the more hits you can do in one go. So if I probably had an extra 100 extra fortification value, then I'd probably be able to hit the farm 4 times without having to come into it to then reload the fortification. But as you can see, I've done that twice now, and the fortification's back up to 1523. I'm not going to waste any more diamonds again, because I can get 3 hits from that fortification amount. So we're going to swap back into the main and just do a few more hits. Here we are back in the main, so I'm just going to do a few more hits. As you can see, Pom Farm 2 has got its fortification value up to 90%, so that's going to allow me to hit it another 3 times. I've still got 69 stamina in my class legion. One thing for you guys to consider is that, obviously, again, with that update we received a few weeks ago, troop level T1, just first level troops, now actually have a higher load capacity than T9s. So if you want to maximize the amount of gold and resources that you're taking out of the farm with these hits, you might want to think about training a legion's worth of T1 troops, because they will take, well, if we just quickly have a look in the battle reports, you'll see that I'm taking 759,000 gold using my T9 troops. But if you used, strangely, if you used T1, you'd actually probably get closer to 1 million. So if you're looking to get as much resources out of your farm as you can when you do the hits, then I would suggest train some T1 troops. There we go. So I've done another 3 hits on Pom Farm 2. It's down to 9%. I'm not going to do any more hits, but we will just pop back into Pom Farm 2 so you can look at just the fortification reload again, so you can see that it will cost more gems the more times you do it. And that's really the key elements of hitting a farm. You just want to remember that once you've done your hits, you do go in and reload that fortification value. How many times you do a hit on a specific farm is up to you. As I've said, the more times you do a hit, the more diamonds you'll have to use in the farm to reload the fortification. You're also you're limited by the amount of stamina that you have in your legions, but as it only takes 5 stamina, if you've got full stamina in your class legion, you could do 20 hits if you wanted. Just depends how much resources you're trying to take from your farms, and obviously if you don't need gold, then you can use your other legions to hit as well. So you could actually get a maximum of 80 hits from your legions if you're looking to raid different farms, but all at the same time, because you had like a big upgrade on one of your storage facilities, or like a building, or if you're doing some last elements of research for your T9s, that is very resource hungry. So this is the main benefit of having farms, is you can actually just take you could take the resources out of there. If we look in my main, I've got 1.2 G's worth of food in my stock, nearly 800 million lumber, 740 million marble, and I've got nearly 400 million iron. That's because nearly all of the resources that I generate from my Clash of Province rewards, the hourly rewards, that just goes straight into the stock, and I rarely take anything out, because I'm just using, for buildings and research and everything that I'm upgrading, I will raid my farms and use the resources from that. And then I've always got stock in available to me. You know, if I was involved in a lot of wars where you're having to heal troops, that's going to be very demanding on your resources, and so I have those resources there in backup already. The other thing is gold as well. If you have enhanced troops, healing them, training them, it's very gold hungry. Obviously, doing a lot of the higher level buildings takes a lot of gold as well. As you can see, I've got nearly 400 million gold in reserve as well, because I'm just using the gold that I'm generating from my daily rewards and also from when I'm raiding farms. So those are the kind of overall benefits. We're just going to pop back into Pond Farm 2 to finish the video and restore that fortification. Alright, so for one last time, we're back in Pond Farm 2, and if we click on Fortress and Defence again, as you can see, we're down to 142 fortification, and now the restoring is going to cost us 200 gems, so we'll do the first one at that. While we're waiting for the cooldown, I hope everyone can see how beneficial it is to have farms. I really push my main account as well, what resources I'm using in it. I've done all of the kind of crystal buildings that, like your enhancement camps, they're all finished. All my major buildings in my main account are at level 25, they're finished, and I'm constantly pushing with my research every week as well, and training troops. As you can see, I've got nearly 100 million power in my main, so I don't hold back on any kind of areas of the development because I don't need to. I'm not restricted in the resources available to me because I've got these 6 farms that are generating the resources and the gold that I need to do that development. And in fact, as I've said before, you know, I let other players in my alliance hit my farms as well. Just look at Pond Farm 2, for example. I've got 38 million gold available immediately, and I've got nearly 90 million in backup. And even though I've been raiding this, I've still got 20 million marble. I already showed you the food. Got 60 million lumber, and there's similar amounts in the other 6 farms. So as you can see, I've got 100 million plus of all the core resources that I require, and I've probably got about 600 million gold in these farms. You do have to look after them. Obviously, I put 3-day shields on them every Friday to cover them over kill events, and I have also, you know, expended a lot of resources into them. If you look in Pond Farm 2, I've spent a lot on zone commemoration. I'm actually very close to finishing that. I'm on 96%. Just got a couple of these. Just got the Inspire recruitment. Well, I'm doing incentive, the last level of incentive killing enemies. Finishing Inspire recruitment tomorrow as well, I think. Yeah, I've got enough courage medals, and then I've just got the last 3 elements, and I'll have zone commemoration finished in this account as well, and that'll generate me even more resources because I'll be getting the double rewards every day for the Clash of Province points that I get. So that's raiding your farms, guys. That's how to do it safely, so you don't kill any troops and you actually get the resources that you want and you need. For those new players that don't have farms, you haven't started raiding them yet, I hope you found this video informative and helpful. Thank you very much for all the support on the channel, guys. Please, if this is the first video that you've watched and you've enjoyed it, please do subscribe, ring that bell, share amongst fellow players in your alliance and in your state, and of course, please do leave any comments that you have in the comment section below. And I'll see you again soon.